On Saturday, June 17th at about 11 o'clock in the morning, CBS News correspondent Richard Schlesinger was on a walk in his hometown of Cornwall, Connecticut.
Richard, this is the spot.
This is where it happened, on a quiet country road in Cornwall, Connecticut. I had just come up the hill, and I think right around here is where I dropped.
Dropped to the ground in cardiac arrest.
And the next thing I knew, I was in Hartford Hospital.
That's it.
Yeah.
You don't remember anything in between?
I have no memory of the day. I do know that I must have gone down like a sack of potatoes, because I had scratches all along my left side, so I must have fallen like that. But no, I mean, it was like lights out. It was one moment I'm walking, the next moment I'm in Hartford Hospital.
What happened in between Richard's collapse and his life-star trip to Hartford Hospital is nothing short of miraculous.
You're on a nice, quaint, small road, and you basically dropped dead.
Basically dropped dead. My heart just stopped. I mean, it was quivering, it wasn't pumping blood.
Okay.
But the fact that Cornwall is a beautiful place plays a role in it, plays a part in this, because the people who found me live in Maryland.
Live in Maryland, but were on vacation in Connecticut. Elizabeth Jacobson and Sigurd Nippenberg, along with their family, were in search of the town beach when they saw something strange.
As we were driving there, I saw somebody laying on the side of the road.
And we both kind of looked at each other and go, what's that? Like, it wasn't like, and then I was like, stop. And I was like, okay, what's the right thing to do? Okay, let me just check it out. And then I jumped out of the car and I'm like, call 911. And my husband, he's like, I'll take care of 911. You just go and do your thing.
It just so happens that Elizabeth is a physical therapist trained in CPR.
And so I was like, it's a person. And thank you that your friend wore a bright color shirt, because if he hadn't worn a bright color shirt, I'm not sure we might not have paid attention, but it's pretty apparent. And I flipped him over and I was like, okay, CPR, compression, and I checked for heart rate, and there was no pulse. And I just started compressions. And my husband got on the phone with 911, and it's amazing. Like in CPR, they tell you to count like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 till you hit 30. And I just wasn't counting out loud. I was just saying compressions.
Elizabeth kept going until more help arrived on Cogswell Road.
So they find you, they start doing CPR, and then more people join.
Well, that's the other great thing. I mean, I've said from day one.
You've been a very strong supporter of this town.
I have been a very strong supporter of this town. You've been here a lot. You understand why. But I've said before, and I really mean this. I mean this from the bottom of my heart. The luckiest thing that happened to me was that this happened in Cornwall. And the reason is, Cornwall has an incredibly strong sense of responsibility for its neighbors. Volunteerism is huge here. So I had 12 people working on me, 12, all of whom are neighbors of mine, many of whom are very close friends of mine. 12 people working on me within, that much time.
Meet 3 of those folks that worked on Richard. They're with the Cornwall Volunteer Fire Department. Ian Ridgway, Joyce Hart, and Diane Beebe. Ian was one of the first on the scene. He, too, administered CPR.
You didn't give up.
We didn't give up. We just kept on going,
You just and you saved a life.
We did.
You're a hero.
Hey, it's pretty incredible, and it was also, you get there and you realize it's a guy who lives 2 houses down from you, and there's so much going through your mind that you can't really sort of process it all while it's going. You just have to focus on the skills, the training that you've had, and trust yourself, trust the people you work with to do a good job, and that's what we did.
Joyce, pretty remarkable day.
It was, yeah. When the pager went off and I realized it was up the hill from me, and I jumped in with my AD and found Ian on scene, and he had done 2 2 minutes of CPR, which you need to do before you have the AED.
Oh,
So
I
it worked
didn't know
out. So it worked out perfect. So I took over compressions, and he and another member set up the AED, and we gave him a shock.
Did you know it was Richard?
I didn't, not for a little while. Then I realized, he doesn't look himself lying on the ground.
Exactly.
And then I realized, I thought, whoa. Oh.
They kept working and working and working on Richard, and it paid off.
Just as the paramedics arrived, we were able to get a pulse. They determined that he had returned to what we call spontaneous circulation, and that was great news for us.
Elizabeth Ridgway is the EMS captain for the Cornwall Volunteer Fire Department.
We scheduled the debriefing pretty much immediately, within hours, and not knowing it could be very bad, could be very grim, and turns out it was amazing, and we're glad it worked out, and we're so glad to see Richard out walking and giving us a wave. And
I was talking to you about how lucky I am to have lived in Cornwall. Okay, so Diane lives, down the street and around the corner.
yeah,
Joyce lives down the street and up a hill. Ian lives 2 doors down from me with his big sister, Elizabeth. And these folks, along with 8 others or 9 others, saved my life. These are my neighbors. These are people I see every day, and they saved my life.